the Mariner class is here in the Lord of the Rings Online. So I'm super excited to check it out. We, of course, have the Corsairs of Umbar expansion pre-patch today, and the expansion itself is launching in about 4 weeks on November 1st. So there is still some time to prepare for it. There are the bundles and the such on the website where you can go ahead and pre-purchase the expansion. That is how you have to get access to the Corsair class. I also do want to, while I'm thinking about it, thanks Standing Stone Games actually provided me the Ultimate Edition to be able to share content of it, create a Mariner, and all that sort of stuff. So I'm very excited to get to making this character, but I do have something special to start this stream. And I have avoided looking at these entirely. Okay, things are actually working. So this is the pre-purchase trailers, not the launch trailer, but pre-purchase trailer. Also, you all remember Fellowship Chat back when that was a thing? Anyway, I have not watched these, so I thought we could check it out together. Audio is very loud. Let's turn that down for me at least a little bit. Also, why is it so low quality? Hopefully this doesn't cause my frames to drop. I'll turn the volume down a little bit. Okay, I have paid zero attention. We'll actually watch it here. So those look like new lands, a bunch of new quests. This looks more like Gondor side. I know we're getting more in Gondor. Yeah, since this is just music, I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. 4 distinct regions is how they're describing it. I think Gundabad had I don't know if the regions each have zones within them, or if it's oh, that was pretty neat. 4 zones. Let's see. This with the rainbow, and then those are also, of course, different trees than we have right now, different flora. And even the docks, the style of the housing architecture, that's the word I'm looking for, is a little bit different. I am very bad with Mediterranean architecture and anything going on there. And with what, say, countries or regions within that, what types of houses architecture belong to where. But it kind of makes me think that the first place that stands out is Greece, but I don't really think that's Greece. But it kind of reminds me of that general area is what I'm trying to say. And something definitely different. Also, that is indeed a crocodile. There's something that made me think about Crocodile Dundee with one of the things in their promotional materials. Also, oh, that looks like a neat lizard. That was a lion, I think. Like a proper lion. Yeah, become the Mariner. Become the Mariner that fights a lion, apparently. I'm just wondering why you can't have a lion pet. Maybe you can. Also, this, I think this gives a great look of some of the landscapes we could perhaps be having in game. It's not quite into the full desert, so of course the game, I can't bring up the map, but it's not quite into the full desert that you might expect with Harad. Umbar, of course, is a coastal city. Within that, and that's I believe the extent of what we're getting. This is a sandy beach, at least. Palm trees. Makes me think of Mario is the first thing I think of with that. So that's pretty neat. Ooh, dragons. Good to know we have drakes at least here. That's Gondor looking. Gondor looking again. I'm personally not as interested in the Gondor looking stuff, but the new stuff, I'm actually surprised with how much they're showing here with the pre-purchase trailer. I think this is a lot better than some of what we previously had with trailers, and it's not on launch day for the expansion, so that's pretty exciting. I feel like they haven't done the best. Did I miss this cut, or was I? Yeah, it was. I wasn't paying much attention to it, but I felt like they didn't do the best job in the lead up to the pre-purchase of the bundles, with advertising and announcing dates. I feel like they could do a lot better job actually sort of building excitement and that sort of stuff with announcements. But I will say this trailer is looking pretty nice in the lead up to Umbar. Also, just to say hello to everyone in chat, hello to Ben and Sisinji. You can't stay long as it's midnight here, but you'll be able to watch this full video tomorrow. Hopefully you enjoy it tomorrow, Ben. Glad you were able to at least join for the start here. Hello to David and Jimmy. Jimmy, you said you bought the most popular bundle? What is the most popular bundle? Is that the ultimate bundle? If you got the 140 Valar, then that was probably the ultimate bundle. Yeah, this came out a lot earlier than I would have expected until I think it was the community manager Cordovan during his Court of the Rings weekly stream that he like gave a very big hint that the class in update 37.2 was coming this week, so we got a little time to prepare for it. But there is actually another. I think if you use Valors, you get some virtues, but I will be doing that today as a little preview, a teaser of what's to come. But yeah, there's actually a Mariner trailer. I don't think this is the regular class video.
Mariners have
Maybe
a
it
noble
is.
history in Middle-earth, from Earendil of old.
Hey, they do mention Arendil. Wait, how did she say that? Arendil? I always called him Arendil, but
Earendil of old, to the voyagers of Numenor, and on to the sailors and corsairs who now navigate Middle-earth's coastlines, shunning heavy weapons and armor.
okay, this is the class video. It's actually, again, when I say it's not bad, that makes it sound like I expect this to be bad, but that's because, especially Mordor, that expansion in particular, the trailer they had was like not good. They don't have the best track record with them, but for the Mariner class video, I like this one. I don't remember what the brawler was like, to be honest.
They excel as cunning duelists, masters of innovative tactics, and callers of sea shanties. That
Oh,
draw
wow.
upon
Wait, why does that look like my character?
and
I'm like-
callers of sea shanties.
That looks like my warden in that outfit. Oh my. That's funny. I think it's the Isengard Berserker outfit.
Of the sea.
That was a fun little video. The presentation is bugging here. Like the trailers and the such they have for the French version, or like is there something wrong with the game of the French version? Hey there, Bright Life, that is my... I mean, they might have just made a carbon copy of my character, because I think that looks just like him. We'd have to see without the hat to see if he has the same hair. Uh, 5P CTD 2BR, you said you don't like the new class. Just because there were mariners in Umbar and other places in Middle-earth doesn't mean they were like Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't think, based on my experience in beta, I haven't found them to be too much pirate-like, but hey, we can play the class all day, all evening today. Okay, let me take just a second here. There we go. So I'm going to be making a new mariner. I think that was all we had to check out trailer-wise. It was just those two. So it was nice music in both trailers, I think. And I'm pretty impressed with what we saw overall, and I think there are some exciting teasers of actually what's to come, like with the new enemies, crocodiles. As far as I know, we have not had those anywhere in LOTRO. There's also, well, one of the cosmetic pets we get is a fennec fox, which is also different. Something I do associate with more desertous regions. And then what else did they mention? There was something else. Maybe it was just crocodiles. Oh yeah, there was the pirate goblins, Corsairs, but there was the lion. Yeah, lion in the trailer, which was pretty neat. But anyway, we're going to make a mariner, and I'm actually going to go for something way different. We are going with a male high elf. That part's not way different, but I'm going to make him somewhat gray-haired. I don't know why, but I like the idea of having my mariner be slightly gray hair. Like, something like that. Also, we're going to be very different and go with this hairstyle. I should have actually planned out, because I think I prefer one of the heads that is not head 1. Head 1's not bad, but there is one that I actually prefer. I think head 7 works. Not just because it's number 7. But he looks like the least unhappy one. Although it's a little bit of a round face, but we'll just go with that. How big of an impact will the crafting update make to non-end game levels? I'm not sure if it will have the biggest impact to start, in particular with what you can craft, but because you can gather resources of any tier, and because you're not going to be restricted by vocations, then there's going to be a pretty big impact. From my perspective, like all my characters is going to be a pretty significant impact. And we also don't know what they're doing with like the ability to send stuff to your alts. What's best? How about Balerion? That seems like a good one. Actually, Osirian shows the sea, but I feel like Balerion. Like, you're from the land that is now turned into basically sea. Also, can I even have gray hair? Did that totally ruin my gray hair character? Uh-oh. Never mind. We're gonna be from Assyrian. This at least has water. I mean, that's like, okay, you're home of Assyrian. It survived the fall of Beleriand. Oh, so that's Linden. That's at least by the sea. That's good enough. Also, what do I want my skin color to be? I don't know. How about that? And then eye color, I think everything else is the same. Do I want to mess with eyebrows? Actually, why is my hair so dark? I think I'm just used to it being dark. Okay, we'll go a little bit grayer there. I forget if I like, nope, I like eyebrow 5 enough. Mouth 1's good, detail, all that's good. Okay, let's make Luiner the Mariner, because I am absolutely terrible with making names. Also, let's do Before the Shadow, because that's going to be super easy to get out of. Fortunately, nobody took my name. I was only Louis Rendell. Actually, Louis Rendell, I love that name, but I'm going to be making another Mariner. So today's Mariner is going to be the one that I'm valoring to level 140 and doing all the exciting high-level stuff, potentially preparing him to be the character that I take through the Umbar expansion. We'll have to see how much I actually enjoy the Mariner before we go that far. But on Saturday is the current plan, but someday this weekend, I'm planning to spend, given that I have the time, maybe doing an all-day-ish type challenge of doing a tier 9 landscape difficulty, so max difficulty character, to go through leveling from the start, but making him a hardcore character. And the challenge that I'm planning on doing with that is... there we go. To get to level 20. So that is a challenge I've been wanting to do, and actually I wanted to do with both the Beowurning and Guardian when they got revamped, but that never happened. But I think with the Mariner, I will be able to, and I think that should be a fun challenge. It could be all day if I keep dying, because then I have to restart. Hopefully it's fun and exciting, though, and I don't have to keep on restarting. Maybe I should make it a rule that I do different content, like if I die on that character, just so I'm not repeating the same thing over and over, which I don't like. I like force myself to do different content. So if I started with like the best starter zone with Era Lewin, then I could move on to the next best starter zone if I happen to perish, and go to Breland, and then if I happen to fail at Breland, I could go to the next best one, which is actually probably after that it would be Swanfleet for me, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Swanfleet. And then after that we would have to do Iraduan Dwarfside, and then the Shire. Actually, I'd probably rather Iraduan Dwarfside than what's it called? Hey, we got our sword and dagger. Swanfleet, that's the name of that zone. That's the name of the zone I'm currently in right now. Punishment should be your other one. Doesn't sound like a punishment to me. Also, I need to fix my audio because I cannot hear anything. I got it all set up for the videos, the trailers at the start. But once I get out of the intro shores, I plan to go through some of that stuff more. Also, I will have a dedicated video that will probably be a lot better if you're just wanting something concise to actually see the cosmetics. I feel like a true mariner starting my adventures in the middle of land in Swanfleet. At least I mean, there's a river. I don't think that's Gwythyr. Gwath? Something. Anyway, it's the one that like Ruin and River connects to. But at least there is a river that would go out to the sea. Anyway, what do we have to do? We have to... Why did I... Right-click on the... That's where I read right-click on the Goblin Raider. Also, what is this ability? I honestly don't remember. Blade Shield. Is that different from beta? Thrust looks normal. Riposte looks like a different icon. Wow, I did a lot of damage. I thought with the stat squish you did like tiny damage. Why am I doing so much? I guess I'm not going to complain though. Like, for some reason I remember characters doing like 2 damage at level 1. Okay, audio. We want speakers, Realtek or audio, and I still cannot hear anything. They are plugged in, right? They aren't dead, are they? Okay, that might be the issue. I forget these speakers being wireless, and I've had them unplugged. Are abilities on Mariner fairly cheap? Oh, sustain. Yeah, so you can go left and right fairly easily. But there's not really much of consuming your Afton for, if that's what you're thinking. Also, I have no idea what that effect was on the Goblin. Okay, I can hear in-game audio again. Let me set it so you all can hear in-game audio. Okay, you all should be able to hear in-game audio. And then we're gonna see. My stream seems to be working, and okay, good. I promise I actually know what I'm doing sometimes. Or at least I try to make it look like I know what I'm doing. I know a lot of people like maybe deeper stories with intros. I know that was a big complaint of the River Hobbit intro, but I love how quick you get out into the open real world doing the Before the Shadow intro. I don't feel the need to get an intro skip for 95 LOTRO points or whatever it is. And while you're stunned like this, you can totally pay attention to the story, or you can sort your inventory with all the junk stuff you get. Ahoy! Yeah, I need to be talking like a pirate, don't I? I'm not good at that though. Expansion launch is scheduled for November 1st, which is way earlier than I expected a couple, even just a week ago.
What do you make of this?
Oh my. I have to talk so many times, and then we can get out. Probably won't do that because I'm going to send this character a Valor. So I'm going to go ahead and send him the Valor real quick so we can get back on him, and then we'll look at all the cosmetics and all the good Corsairs of Umbar stuff. The graphical update was canceled. You know, my reaction to that was that, can something that was never going to happen be canceled? I know I talked about in all my videos that this came up, that I was like skeptical of it ever happening, but it just wasn't realistic, to be honest. That said, I at least would have been really excited for a user interface complete overhaul, ground up redo. Here is my warden. Also, Here's a little preview of the cosmetics. I did before this video, or before the stream, I recorded a video on the cosmetics that you get with the Ultimate Fan Bundle Collector's Edition at Sardar again. Thank you, Standing Still Games, for getting me the Ultimate Edition. So I did a video on that, and you might notice this pirate on my shoulders, but that is definitely not the most exciting thing cosmetic-wise. This little guy is, the Fennec Fox. I don't know why, I just really like that. Next up, though, is the Valor. That's what I need to send. Also, what's my character's name? Luiner? That's right, we'll do Louis Rendell soon. Nobody steal that name, please. Or if you do, like, choose a server like Gladden or Crick Hollow or something. I definitely play on those two. So if you want to steal my name, just steal it there. So Dougbeard, you said you have 351.5 hours played, but you haven't gotten to level 20. You keep making new characters. Well, there's a lot of exciting stuff after level 20. I don't know if there's much more I can do to help. River Hobbits do start in Mossward after their Lindleby intro. There's little story elements that I think explain things a little bit, at least. I think who was it? It might have been, it could have been Scenario, one of the world builders that does actually a lot of community interaction from Standing Stone Games, or maybe somebody else, but they mentioned that a lot of like new classes or races or whatever, you could probably expect them to be default, at least to start in Mossward. And at least give you access to, I think, the same that the River Hobbits get if you don't have all the Before the Shadow content. Okay, so we should have level 140 Valor. This was actually briefly offered on the LOTRO store for a little bit, but it's, I think, the same thing. I also don't know what my cat's complaining about, but she'd be doing that. What else? Yes, Valor. Got myself totally distracted. My cat got me totally distracted, is actually how it went. Okay, I'm just going to get where it's a little less busy and go through my stuff. So this is going to take a minute, but it's better to do this early than be annoyed by all the stuff later. So I'm just going to destroy all these cosmetics that I don't want. This is the Elf Dance and Old Traditions emote, sure. There's a bunch of character frames that we just got. Gear gift boxes I should be able to keep here. Armor of the Hammerhands I don't need to do. Journeyman Riding, definitely want that because now I can learn all these mounts here. Okay, I think that's all of the mounts for the most part. Title. Chestnut Corgi, Armor of the Iralingas, go ahead and destroy that. Destroy Armor of the Helmingas. There are some characters I could actually like these outfits on, but if they were dyeable, I might use them, but I don't know, I haven't been in the mood for them in a while. High Elf Equipment Selection Box will probably end up ignoring that. I have so many lights from Gunabat, I don't need one on this character. Okay. Same with this and this. So we have 4 of 3 peaks. Corsairs of Umbar, here we go. So these are the Corsairs of Umbar bundles. I know that has a good earring somewhere. The Collector's Edition has the earring. So that's going to be one of the ones that boost your stats and scale with your level. Is it normal to feel overwhelmed? Hold up. Message disappeared. Then there's the Fennec Fox. I believe that's, yeah, that one was Collectors. And then Steed. I realize I'm blocking my character right now, but there's the Fleet Merchants, and then, oh boy, I should have organized stuff before I did that. But I'm going to start outfit 8, and we can make a outfit of this stuff. So this is going to be the Ultimate Fan Bundle cosmetics here. I don't want to get things mixed up, so Let's do fleet merchants. This is the collector's edition cosmetics here. They can be dyed and actually do dye quite well, which is nice. I'll go ahead and attach the cloak, but probably not going to use that on any of them. The hat, I like the hat, but it hides my character's hair, which I don't know. It looks like he just shaved his hair to get the hat, so I don't quite know what's going on there. So we'll maybe avoid that hat for now, even though I actually do really like it. And then if you actually equip, you can't do it cosmetically, but if you equip the parrot shoulder, then you'll have a parrot sit on your shoulder, which is pretty neat. But you have to actually equip it, so you'll lose that shoulder piece if you want that, which could be important for combat, maybe. And then I think the 140 Valor. Oh, let's go ahead and, it's gonna. I think I need to open the Gundabad bundle. So we're gonna get things mixed up here, but yeah, I want the earring because it has OP stats, and then we want the, wait, why can't I use this? Oh, you have to be level 7 to use the weapon aura? So okay, then let's go ahead and use the Valar. So I don't know if I might try to turn this into a regular video on my channel, like a subsection of the stream as I've done before, but this is the level 140 Valar that we will try on the Mariner here. I don't know exactly what comes in this Valar package, so it's going to be exciting to see how it might be different from 120 and the 130, or how similar it is. So we have a fairly clean inventory here. I'm going to move that. So you open it, and then you should have the actual level boost to 140. So this will teleport you to Baal Avark and Corndum. I wouldn't be surprised to see a bunch of fresh Mariners there, to be honest. There's also the Virtues one. So this is a quest item that will let you access the Coffer of Virtue boost. We probably want to go ahead and level up. Worsty, don't want to destroy anything. I need to be level 75 for that. Seeker of Deep Places. So it gets you all that stuff that you would expect when you're past level 51 in this case, and past level 75. Also, what are those petals? I did not realize this steed left watery traces like that. That is really neat. That is actually like a Tidebreaker steed. I don't know if that's the name of the steed, but it's very fitting. And then the Valar item packs will give you a bunch of gear, legendary items, all sorts of stuff like that. So I do have the riding characteristic already from the account-wide journeyman rating. So there is that it contains as well. But anyway, let's go ahead and get up to level 140. Let it do its thing. And it will take us to Baal Avark. We can go ahead and get the Stable Master. Make sure we grab that. And move into a... Wow, this is a very unappealing... I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's a very unappealing area. I'd rather be on like the coast of Gondor or Umbar for that matter. Okay, so this gives us a skull key for Great Barrow. I did not know that, but that's kind of neat. And then it gives you the stuff you need for that to get started, I think, with the Shades in the Swamp quest when you talk to Gandalf and do stuff in Beorninghus. So that's what some of this stuff is. The letter is for Rohan Awaits if you want to start that. And then Virtues of the Valar, so we can do that now. We have a whole bunch of quest actions. A lot of these I'll probably eventually filter on this character, but this one lets us access the Valar Virtue coffer here. So if we open that, we get 30 of the 20,000 Virtue XP items and 6 of the 70,000 Virtue XP items. So you can get a lot of Virtue XP with that. I typically like to save these for when we have Virtue XP boost weekends, so that something like 10% extra Virtue XP or even 20% is pretty amazing. But I think for today, I'll go ahead and use some to at least get 5 Virtues leveled up will be my goal. Now, I realize I've been sort of ignoring chat, so I could at least get this character somewhat set up with the Valar, so he didn't just stop in the middle there. But let's see, Omega, you said, oh, same thing happens to you with every character. Oh, store those as permanent account reward items with like into a withdrawal only bank. Yeah, that would be nice because they do cause a lot of inventory issues. Like, it's almost like a double-edged sword. Yes, you get wonderful in some cases at least wonderful cosmetics, in other cases questionable, at least for me. Cosmetics are, of course, completely subjective, and there's just a lot that I'm picky about and don't like. But yeah, they take up a lot of space, but you do at least get some good cosmetics. Let's see. Yes, you can drag and drop cosmetics. Oh, yeah. How else would you equip them? Because if you right-click them, I think they go to your, actually equip to your character. Or do you mean just drag and drop in the middle rather than the slot? But yes, that is something you can do. Also, if you are mailing stuff, you can just drag and drop to the like middle here. Well, let's do something attachable. You can just drag and drop to the middle and it'll go straight to the attachments too. So that's pretty neat. Main difference between Mariner and Burglar. Mariner is a seafarer, and they use a sword in main hand and dagger in offhand. Burglar can use different weapons and is not a seafarer. Burglar has stealth, Mariner doesn't. They're just very different, even though they're both sort of relatively fast-paced melee classes, and they both do have a debuff spec. So yeah, Mariner, I think it's, based on my beta experience, it's pretty fun, but I maybe got 2 hours of actual gameplay in on the beta, and of course wasn't doing any form of actual character progression, so we'll see how it is. If it's a really fun class, it might be the class. This might be the character, in fact, that I take to Umbar rather than my Warden, which, for people that don't know me, that is a really big deal. Also, I have been standing way too much today, so we'll see how long I last standing during this stream. I have, oh yeah, so I was carrying this 1 gallon bottle of hand soap for like 30 minutes walking around, but that's a whole thing. But I kind of forgot about that. What else? That got me totally distracted, but I was just thinking about like what could be making me tired today. Oh yeah, so to get, did I catch up on chat? I think I did. Okay, so to get back to the Valar here, we got those virtue packages, so we'll use those in a moment. We also got 2 level 50 enhancement runes, so that's pretty funny, but I think that's from getting Seeker of the Deep Places. Those are useless for us. We could sell them to the vendor or save them for an alt. We got Worsteed, so we can check that out. There's also trait for legendary items. Very important to use that so you don't have to go through the stuff to unlock Seeker of the Deep Places. We have the weapon pack and then the armor pack. We also did get our Worsteed, so we can actually use that. And then we got the Valar items pack. I think I'll start off with the Valar items pack. So just sort some of the things here a little bit. And with the Valar items pack, this just gives you a whole bunch of different things. I was going to say I thought it gives you gold, but that is actually going to be in the form of 5 huge piles of gold scraps, which really is 12 gold is basically scraps in LOTRO. We can use the steed that we get, Steed of the Citadel, Daleman's Crams, rejuvenation potions. Wow, they actually give you level 131 food, like the good food too. This is the regen food. This one persists through death, 2-hour duration. This one can be used in combat, and it's a 10-minute duration. Like normal food, it will wear off if you die, but I'm surprised they give you the special 131 foods. That's a good step up from previous Valars that I at least remember. You also get a universal toolkit. I also don't remember that with previous Valars, but when we get this character crafting, that will be useful. Probably save a bulk of the crafting for Umbar with the whole crafting overhaul and being able to jump straight into Umbar crafting when the expansion launches, and also not being locked in to whatever professions a vocation has. Otherwise, again, 12 gold, maps to a few select areas that might be of interest and important in some of the quests that you could have started from all the pop-ups there. And also 3 maps to the Tracery Archive. We'll probably be making a visit there. Also, oh, that's Anak Curfew. Why does that not look like Anak Curfew in the icon at all? Is it just me that thinks that? That looks like, it makes me think of Pass of the Dead. Like, that is just the place I see. Like, I envision Aragorn coming out and summoning a ghost army when I see that icon. So I was like, wait a minute, is that something for Umbar? So yeah, we got the few maps, but next up, I'm going to go ahead and sort my stuff, so I need to locate these 2 green boxes. I think I'll go ahead and go with the armor pack because that should be the relatively simpler pack here. So the armor pack just gives us a bunch of armor. I actually have no idea how it is for 140. It looks like it's pretty good item level with 477, maybe not the best optimization. I see it has evade rating. And this is almost a sort of confirmation based on what the game gives you that, yeah, Mariner, you know, they get quite a bit of benefit from might, and even will, I think, gives them some interesting benefits, but their main stat that you really should be going for is agility because it's the most efficient stat in terms of what it gives you. Like, sort of the quantity of stats that are important for your damage, at least. There are some purple pieces of gear with the gloves, pants, boots, and then there's the back. It matches the Gundabad cosmetics for better or worse. For me, it's for worse, but hey, we got the nice Umbar cosmetics that I actually really do like. I wouldn't mind exploring some different dyeing options and maybe different back item options to go with them. We also get, as you could expect, some jewelry. So we got the necklace, a couple rings here, a couple bracelets, and the earrings might be interesting because, oh, we got a pocket. Wait, they give a pocket item now? Wow, I don't remember the 130 Valor giving a pocket item, and I know the 120 Valor didn't. So that's a huge step up that we actually get a pocket item now. Wow. Otherwise, the earrings, I think, are going to be worse, maybe, than the ones we have, the scaling ones we have, but it's possible that they're actually better. So I'd have to take a deeper look into these stats, but I think they are going to be worse because the scaling ones we have both crit rating and mastery, on top of, for something like the Mariner, where you get actually a pretty good benefit from might, agility, and will, you're getting sort of triple the stats that you normally would. Some other classes get double, like Warden I know gets a sort of double. It's not like exactly 2 times the benefit, but Wardens can draw mastery from both might and agility. And Mariners can draw that from all 3, might, agility, and will. So that's just something else in the favor of the scaling earrings. And I think for both of these, that's the route I would go. I know on my Warden, and maybe the same case for this Mariner, though, if I wanted defensive earrings and wanted, like, mitigation in this case, I would probably equip this defensive earring for that. But Mariners aren't tanks. They have 2 support specs and 1 DPS spec. So, of course, in the support specs, you want to prioritize defenses so you can stay alive in support, but your mileage may vary on what you use. And yeah, I think well, there aren't tons of people, but the Pirate Alliance, that is a perfect name for us going to Umbar, but there's, yeah, a couple Mariners that are level 140, one with a pirate out, and I think they both have the hat. I feel like I don't fit in. I gotta join the hat club here. And I also have to get actually, I'm gonna get the fox out. I like the fox. I don't know about the name Simon, though. We'll probably have to change that. So yeah, brief break and we'll go through the weapons. Yeah, it is possible that, well, I don't know if maining my Warden is the best way to put it, but I haven't been feeling that great about DPS Warden. And, you know, Mariner is new, exciting, and actually, in my opinion, what was that? Way better than Brawler. If you all were wondering what I thought it was way better than. Also, I'm going to turn one of my lights off real quick because when it's light outside and I can have the curtain open, I like having all 3 lights by my monitors on. but I tend to at least prefer having only 2 of the lights on when I don't have my curtains open and it's dark outside. Let me know if you all have a preference from what we had before. I'm actually curious. I tend to prefer this lighting. It also helps with the colors in the back. It makes my white apartment walls look a little less plain versus that, which also, just because that's an open area, a lot more light from that side. So it kind of dominates, but I personally like this. So we'll stick with that for now. Ben, again, thank you for joining the stream. So LOTRO is a game that is very much so journey oriented. So if you're interested in that aspect and leveling a character, it definitely can be worth starting new, even now with a lot of people. There's like a big split, a lot of people being low level, a lot of people being high level, and in particular at the level cap. But one of the problems with the low level is there's 139 levels below the level cap. So even if you have 10 times as many players spread out from 1 to 139, the density of them is going to be a lot lower than a tenth of the players at 140, assuming they're spread out somewhat evenly, which probably wouldn't be the case. There's probably more at the start. Yes, you do have to pre-purchase the expansion to create a Mariner. Now, any of the bundles, you will be able to make a Mariner, though. Yeah, Blue Line really is nice with the Warden. I did recently play on Tier 3 Landscape difficulty, and it wasn't that bad. So that was actually pretty fun. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm just missing Yellow Line, and I think too much about the old Yellow Line fun, even though there's a lot of the same stuff you can do with the new Warden, even in Red Line. I just haven't found it as exciting as I feel like it should be or could be. And yeah, some of the old stuff in the Yellow Line sure was very, very, very overpowered for a landscape. But I don't think it's that I'm just missing that very OP experience. I guess we can start off, I mean, this is like perfectly set up for us to just start off with one of the 3-mans. I think it would be more interesting to try to actually solo one of the 3-man version of one of the 3-mans. I could try to get a group for it, but I think for just learning the class, we could probably start with a solo version. I'll go ahead and get this started. I don't think you have to do much interaction here. And at this point, hopefully nobody wants to see the story here. I'm purposely going to hide that so we don't have to be bothered by it too much. I think I'll go ahead and go through the weapons for the Valar. So we have the gear, all the other stuff that we acquired that is now sorted in my inventory. And for the weapons, you get 2 daggers, because 2 daggers better than 1, even though you'll only be using 1. Looks like pretty good stats, so that will go in our offhand. And then for the legendary item boxes, so there's the Valar legendary item box. This will give you a bunch of different things, and this one will give you a bunch of different things. Plus, you can get, this will probably be for the bridle. I think that's the intention, is that you get your bridle out of this, because one of these legendary boxes will give you another box. Yes, this is going many. Oh, wow, I could send these to my warden. Setting that aside, because these are account bound, and I know my warden needs 1 more teal enhancement rune, and then yeah, for one specific tracer I just want 1 more teal enhancement rune, so that's perfect. But you should get an actual legendary item box here. So this is where you could get your cutlass, so your sword, your main hand weapon, and then for, again, the Mariner specifically, your class item, which will be the haversack, would be in this other legendary item box. So if we open that, we get the haversack, and then the third one, that's just a plain legendary item box, we can use and get whatever bridle we want. I'll probably go with light bridle, and we just right click that, and that goes on our war steed. go ahead and equip the haversack as well. Also, if you're a subscriber, I recommend getting the subscriber town services before you do this, but I think it yeah, the legendary items that you get are already max reforged, so I don't actually have to worry about that. So the rest of the stuff I do get a couple shattered traceries that I can barter at the tracery archive. Again, we got 3 maps to go there. And you also get a ton of boxes for different types of traceries. So we have like heraldry traceries, so we can get one of these basic heraldries. I believe there should be another one that came with the offhand weapon. So each of the boxes basically has the same stuff here for us to go through. So I think in general, Sparrow is the starter one that I would get because it has agility, but more so vitality. So we'll get a couple of those and put them on each of the allies. And yeah, as far as the Valar items go, I mean, at this point, that is pretty much everything. It's going to take a while to go through, but that is pretty much what you get for your legendary weapons. That's, of course, going to be the most complicated part of getting your character set up from the Valar. The other stuff that you have to do is learn the class. So it can be a challenge if you're trying to use a Valar on a new character, a new class that you've never played before, or in my case only played 2 hours just based on beta. It can be tough to get into. So there are different types of content you can probably do to ease yourself into the gameplay. Like here, I'm just going to go through some of the Angmar Reborn stuff with Return to Karn Doom. Some of the solo instances there, they're pretty low stakes, not the most challenging thing. And also getting your character set up with traits. So we actually do still have to go through the virtues. So I will actually go ahead and do that here. Again, I'm only going to use enough to get maybe 5 virtues maxed out to start. So if I can find where the virtue boosts are, we do get 6 of the 70,000. So I actually want to be careful here, and I'm going to go ahead and select my second virtue, which is actually a really good question. What do I want my next virtue to be? I think wit is a good starter one, but depending on your endgame gear, it's not something you always need. Fidelity is one I often use on my characters for more defensive stats, so that probably wouldn't be a terrible choice for this character. Of course, if I want to lean more DPS, which, for being honest, that's probably what I'm going to lean towards on this character. I don't dislike the blue line, but there are some things about it that make me not necessarily want to main it. And similar with the yellow line, I think it's really interesting. I'm just not a big fan of debuff support and playing that. So maybe we'll at least start off with this character with some more offensive oriented, like what I would get for a DPS character, which does actually include fidelity as usually my go-to defensive virtue after loyalty. That's like just number 1 all-around virtue that I always get on every single character as my first highest priority virtue. Always loyalty. Unless they make some drastic changes, that will probably always be the case as well. Unless I want to go full glass cannon mode, which is actually possible, that I would forego loyalty for that. So anyway, long story short, we're going to put 1 in fidelity. I mean, Valor is going to be one of the more efficient DPS ones. So we can go with Valor and Wit. Go ahead and get that as well. And then we have to decide on 1 more and which would be best for this character, which really comes down to determination versus confidence. So typically confidence is going to be higher value overall because main stats just don't really contribute much. But with the Mariner, you do have to consider that you get quite a few points of agility, or quite a few points of physical mastery for your agility, perhaps compared to other classes before we see the bigger stat revamp that's coming. It sounds like in 2024, they're still looking to implement that. So that is something that, yeah, we will have to consider. But I think for a starting point, confidence is pretty much, it gives a lot of value with the critical rating, even if it is less value overall than Valor and Wit for DPS. So that's probably, just make sure I'm not missing anything obvious, probably the one I'm going to go for with this character. And yes, we will slot the ones that we want, I can't slot them because they're level 0. So I want to make sure I at least use one booster for these, so any of my overflow XP does not go to something useless like charity, which actually does have some uses. I shouldn't call it useless, but something we don't want right now. Okay, so I will go with that, and we'll use the next Virtue XP booster on Loyalty. Actually, it's going to be tough to get the virtues that I want maxed out. I can keep Loyalty selected, and it will actually go in order. I think this is a pretty good order to prioritize these. So now it's just the slow process of clicking these. We'll actually see. I'm really curious how many it takes to get these 5 virtues maxed out. Hopefully we don't have to go through every single one. I don't think we will. But it's kind of unfortunate with virtues. At least to me, it's unfortunate that even getting the passives from all these other ones gives your character a huge benefit, and just the difference in power level will be very extreme. But yeah, I think for the next one that I want to earn, it might be Tolerance if I was looking for something more defensive oriented, but I think I could go ahead and get Determination. So I have more flexibility with the offensive ones depending on this character's stats and like what gear and the such he has. So yeah, that way I have a fresh one selected. But we'll save the 15 rest of these for a later date. Okay, I think that is mostly set up. And I think that's pretty much it for the Valar. Again, going through the legendary item stuff, that will just take a moment and probably something I should do. It's not the most exciting thing. I want to jump into combat and getting this character ready for combat, but I do think we should set this character up with reasonable allies because they have... Oh, is Loyalty not that good after the stat squish? I am not too familiar with that, but it is possible. I remember them doing something with that. Right now it's contributing like 5%, if even that, to my total morale, so take that how you will. Yeah, it's not even quite 5%, but dang, that used to be my go-to virtue. Maybe they did actually implement a drastic change to make it not that good. Maybe that's why, like with the stat squish, they did a stealth nerf to Loyalty just because it was basically the best virtue in the game. Well, at the very least, it still gives me vitality. And if I go with something else, I get the passive morale bonus. Oh yeah, the portrait and weapon aura, we can check those out. The portraits, I honestly not the biggest fan of, but there's the Tidebreaker one, Fleet Merchant one, which is Collector's Edition, and then the base one. Those don't appeal to me all that much. I think I like out of all of them, I don't know. Fleet Merchants isn't that bad, but I just really like the Blaze of Hope one from Legendary Servers Moria. Stay loyal to Loyalty. It's not a bad strategy. I mean, it is called Loyalty for a reason. I've always been very loyal to it. It's very fitting of the name. I feel Tolerance is a great name. If I have to actually slot Tolerance for the tactical mitigation, it's like I'm being very tolerant of not wanting to slot that, but still slotting it anyway. Are there any other ones? I don't know. I feel like Charity is the opposite of Charity because it gives you increased resistance rating, but you're not being very charitable if you're just resisting enemy attacks. Like, you should get decreased resistance rating if you're being charitable and letting them hit you even more. So I'm probably going to go Redline. Yeah, Redline to start. We can look at the other specs later. We'll see what we get to today. I still have quite a bit of time, but I probably have to wrap up, I don't know, hour to hour and a half-ish. I actually have stuff to do before I go to bed, or at least before 9 a.m. tomorrow, and I'd rather not do it all in the morning, but I could. I've been waking up lately at like 6 o'clock, so that'll leave me, maybe not 3 hours, but like 2.5 hours after all to work on stuff, but I don't like pushing things off to the end of deadlines and such. We never even equipped our pair. Okay, so the weapon aura, that's right. I never got that set up because I had to level up to equip the no auras. So we'll put an aura on the dagger, an aura on the sword, and we will put, or the no aura, and then we will, in the cosmetic tab, equip the new aura. So it's a nice blue glow. I actually really like it. Makes me think of the sea, which I think is the intention. Also, there's this wonderful emote, one of the best emotes in all of LOTRO to me, with whatever it's called. Swashbuckle. Wait, I can't use the swashbuckle emote. That better be it? Okay, good. And then your character has this power stance to end the emote. The auras do match the Blaze of Hope frame, that is true. It was destiny all along that you're supposed to actually use the Blaze of Hope frame with your Umbar Ultimate Edition cosmetics rather than the ones you actually get from the expansion bundles. It is kind of like the River Hobbit weapon aura, which I guess makes sense if they are looking for water theme. Which I do like the River Hobbit one. I think that was one of my favorite things from that bundle as well. But yeah, I think it's time to do what any good old seafaring mariner would do, and raid Karn Doom. Because, you know, it's by the sea. Sail your ship to the middle of Angmar. Defeat orcs. Alright, Poison Gardens. Oh, wow. Leveled our virtue. My favorite Return to Karn Doom instance, so we can run that. Also, I see Dan's Adventures in chat. I'm really curious your take on this hat. I feel like you might be a fan of it for some reason. Some reason.
The likes of which have scarcely or never before been seen in Middle-earth. Above.
Where do we get 5 power potions? Was that from one of these quests? It sure was. Alright then. I think I need to set up my allies though. I really don't want to do this. It takes a long time, but I guess we should. Okay, so does Mariner have any of these that I want? Probably not. So I think we're just going to, well, any of the tactical ones that I want, I mean. I don't think they have much in terms of light type damage. They have a little bit fire, but I think the better one to go with would be the critical rating. Or do they not give you the crit rating in this? Okay, we might be going for Ascendant Flame. No, I don't want to go for Ascendant Flame. Maybe Ascendant Light. Just based on the selections they give us, I think I am going to go Grand Willpower, get a couple tactical mitigation ones. And probably... Are these also Word of Craft? Okay, more Word of Craft. Probably Ascendant Light, I guess. Just, again, going with whatever they give us. I'm not excited about either of these options. The tactical mitigation one isn't inherently bad. We'll put that on the sword then. And then we'll put the critical rating, light type damage, because I have so much light type damage. I'm not sure I have one ability that does light type damage, by the way, but mainly for the crit rating. I thought you might be a fan of that set. Also, I need to get into the kin. I wonder if there's anybody that can invite me to our kin. Oh, there are landscape difficulty tiles for the Mariner. I just completely missed out on those by not activating landscape difficulty. Also, I should have activated landscape difficulty for the Virtue. You get 5% extra Virtue XP. I could have gotten, that's a lot of Virtue XP that could have been boosted by 5%. That was a terrible mistake. I'm always talking about it. that you should activate landscape difficulty just for the virtue XP, even if you're not actually doing any landscape content in the game. And I did not do that for this character. Like, it at 5% might sound tiny, but it really adds up. Anyway. Actually, I forget you can search in game. Oh, I have no idea who Hua is. Are they in a different kin? Oh no, they're in Mithril League. I just have no idea who they are. We'll see. Do I even need to tell them who I am? And also the landscape difficulty titles. Dan's Adventurers posted that on my kin's Discord. It was like, I just didn't even think about that. I think I was just, I gotta blame me streaming and excited to get into the content and get this character leveled up so we can finally get to Mariner gameplay. I've been here an hour and I have not, well, actually I have killed one thing. I've killed like 3 things on this character back when I was level 1 or something. Also, why am I getting even more of these? I don't even think I can equip anymore. Because there's 4, right? 2 on each? Yep. Okay, so I don't need that one. Word of Craft. More of them? There are 6? Wow. Maybe they're planning to set you up with like 2 sets of allies with that. Okay, so we have these boxes, so these will have Word of Mastery. Well, let's go ahead and do Duelist Traceries. I don't know if this will give us all of the Duelist ones that we want, or just enough for like 1 ally. And if we got the Duelist ones again, they would be the same ones, I'm guessing. So as far as equipping these go, probably just because I'm planning to probably only do a single DPS spec, but I do want to kind of organize these. Like this fire pot one might be good if I played yellow line, so that's a universal one. I tend to try to put universal ones on one tracery or one legendary item, so that way if I do want a 3rd ally for additional specs, I can only go with a 3rd instead of 4. So typically try to put universal ones on a single ally. So I'm putting all these bottom ones. Hey, Grimback Sire. I actually recognize that name. I know who that is, even though they're brand new to the kin. Spoiler, it's somebody in chat. Swordplay healing potency. So even like thrust damage or swordplay skill damage, I mean, that's fairly universal. Forward skill damage. Some of these are a little bit less, but I think these bottom 5 are, I think I'd be acceptable with these being on the universal ally, and then we'll keep these top ones with DPS. And now I'm going to make a mess of things because I'm going to do probably Rover. Maybe. I actually don't know what traceries they come with. And I only get 2 of these, I believe. Be nice if they just went ahead and gave you all of them. I kind of see why they don't, because you have 2 LIs, but... I'm going to go with my gut and go Rover. This might be a mistake, but we'll see. Okay, Toss a Bottle. I don't mind having that, actually, because Toss a Bottles are heal that we can use on ourselves, so being able to use that more frequently, not that bad. Thrum of the Sea. No idea what that is, so we'll set it off to the side here. Pot Skills cooldown. We have the purple version of this, so now we have the teal version. So that was a pretty good upgrade from the yellow bundle. Toss a Bottle healing, again, don't mind that. Salt Sea Blade debuff duration. I think I have the teal version of that. No? Do I not have that? Okay, that's another pretty good one then. Throne skill. Okay, that's a bad one. Throne skill or resist chance, I think is what it was. And then recenter cooldown, purple version of that. So I think these ones on the far right we're not going to use, and we're going to try to... I have all these universal ones, so we'll do the least damage-oriented ones. and put the most damage oriented ones like swordplay skill damage. We can move that up. And I think that's pretty much it. So maybe this one that's a little bit damage oriented, and we'll see how that works with the allies. So I hope that maybe this is helpful for people wanting to either set up a Mariner or just how you set up a new character, how I set up a new character after a fresh Valar. Sword Ink, what's like for traceries, more universal as in they're good for all specs. Just in case I, again, want to, maybe I do want to make a blue line Mariner build after all. That way the sword can be universal between both my DPS and blue line build. And then what I switch out would be the haversack. So I'd have one haversack for blue, one haversack for red, and then I'd have the sword works for both of those. That's kind of the idea about this optimization of which traceries go on which LI. So yeah, that's... We're going to make the sword the more universal one here. I can just right click these. It's maybe faster. And I don't actually know how many... That item no longer exists. I don't know what item it's referring to, but I still have my sword at least. I don't know how many more I have. I think 2 more. So that actually works perfect with these ones I had down here. And then I think it's 6 as well for the haversack we'll have. So actually works out quite well. I don't know if that was intentional with the specific traceries they gave you. If you went red and yellow, that you'd actually have a fairly decent setup for 2 traceries. At least I think. I could be totally wrong, but I'll just hope that's not the case. And then we should have 5 Word of Mastery traceries to get to. So I'll sort my inventory once again, and those are Word of Power, Word of Power, Word of Power. No, Word of Mastery are the class ones, so we do want Word of Power. Okay. So as far as Mariner traceries go, that's actually a really good question. What do we want? AoE skill target count? We don't have that many AoEs. They're a little bit more single target oriented, kind of like Burglar. But they do have some AoEs. We have a lot of single target damage. We do have a bit of damage over time, so I think I'll go with single target attack damage for now. These are also very replaceable, and of course when the expansion comes and we get level 141, we have to replace all this stuff anyway. So I don't mind making like a mistake because you can replace this stuff. That's one benefit of this LI system, super easy to replace stuff. Okay, so we got single target attack damage, and then I'll go ahead and get damage over time. Where's like single target attack criticals? Does this not have... Like, does this just not have those as options maybe? It doesn't look like any of these. So there are some that they just don't give you the option of. In that case, I'll get base morale multiplier. That's a nice one if you want a little bit extra health. Oh, none of the Mariner cosmetics work on River Hobbit? They're causing even more issues? That race seems to have caused so many like cosmetic animation type issues that I wish I could say I'm like shocked, but they do. I was gonna say for better or worse, but basically for worse, they do have that track record of causing issues. Okay, so otherwise, yeah, might as well just get area of effect damage. I don't really want the mitigation ones or reduced incoming damage traceries. And then I think what would the other one be? Just AoE target count. I mean, that's fine. For AoE target count, I think that could be a good one for the sword, as well as base morale multiplier, and then we'll have the 3 straight up damage ones on the haversack. Okay, this isn't too terrible, I don't think, at least. And then, guess what? We've done all this work. Now I get to use enhancement runes on every single tracery. I am worn out. So we have, do we have 26 traceries? I don't think so. So, no, wait, we actually have 25 if I remember correctly. It's 12 and 13. 12 on your weapon and 13 on your class item, I think. Maybe. But either way, the point is, I don't think we'll go through every single yellow enhancement rune. Unless it's 14 and 13, then we will, and we'll be short. Don't you all love how easy it is to quickly get into some high-level gameplay right after you use a Valar? I think this entire stream could be setting up this character and getting to like 10 minutes of gameplay. But all this stuff is really helpful, like the stats that you get from boosting your tracery item levels is, to me in a bad way, kind of insane. But I am personally of the opinion that I honestly don't know, but I do think that the game might be better if they just completely scrapped legendary items and just completely got rid of them from the game and just had normal weapons instead. I know there can be some issues that I know WoW has experienced this issue when you have like normal weapons, because that's like by far the most important gear piece to upgrade. But I think there are ways that you could avoid that issue and have normal weapons, or they could just have a legendary item system that even as you're leveling, like sure, this process would be a lot slower as you're leveling, but it's still just something that you have so many things to deal with, and it impacts your character power level so much that you're like way behind if you don't keep up with it. Even if it is like, we're getting all these little minor incremental upgrades of like 200 critical rating. Well, what's 200 critical rating when we have 50,000 total? Well, if you multiply that by 25 traceries or whatever we have, that's a lot. And considering we're only upgrading them by 10 item level, maybe it's actually 12 and 11 traceries, because I'm left with 30 instead of 10. I guess that's a little bit better than 25. Now the purple ones. Isn't there, like, you can right click, select a target. Do you right click the LI and then using enhancement? Wait, let's see. Right click the LI. What did it use it on? Does that just not work and it says using? That's probably left over from essences or something like that. I don't know. Okay. We'll just go through this. This is like in my work. I use programming a lot, and I automate as many things as I can. This is the type of thing that I would probably spend, like, I don't know, just to throw a number out there. If this would take me 5 minutes to click through all this stuff and do it, I would much rather spend 10 minutes creating a program to automate this process. Even though it takes twice as long, I am totally somebody that would do that. But then, you have that for future uses. So if I did this for 2 characters, the total time involved would even out. And if I did it for 3 characters, automating it would be ahead of doing it manually. But this is just making me think of that because it's such a repetitive task. Could probably create a bot that like just clicks in all the right areas to do this as well. That is completely against terms of service, but there is one thing that makes me want to bot in an MMO. It is upgrading the tracery item levels in LOTRO. Not even class deeds. I don't care too much about those and doing those in game. I know people have done that to complete their class deeds, but this is what I would do it for. Almost done. We're in the home stretch of purple. Then we have to do teal. I also have to remember to save 1 teal for my warden. Also, we didn't get enough teal to boost everything, so we'll have to be a little bit selective of actually the traceries that we upgrade. So if we want to see a huge stat jump, assuming this is still bugged, we have to unequip and re-equip LIs for that to actually take effect. Then we, can do that. My critical rating is quite low. It's probably the Valar gear that gave me. My physical mastery is also low. My finesse is really high. The wit probably doesn't help with that, to be honest, but it's something just in my experience. Oh yeah, we have bad gear. This is like one of the worst itemized pieces that I've ever seen. Parry rating and fate. Fate, last I checked, did nothing for us. Yeah, it gives us power and non-combat power regen. That is the most useless stat. For a while there, they were trying to make fate useful, but at least for the Mariner, you do not need a good fate. Yeah, with the buffs, I tend to not be a fan of it. I get some of the idea of where they're coming from, like it's easier to balance. And having alternatives to the red line captain isn't inherently a bad thing. I actually think it could be a good thing. But I also tend to not be a fan of the way they're even doing the buffs, and that if they're going to have buffs not be stackable, I think they should go ahead and just have the exact same effect, exact same magnitude, exact same buff. And same with the debuffs. There are some debuffs that can't stack together, but they're actually different magnitudes, different effects, different debuffs, different amount of incoming damage, for example. So I think either they should let buffs and debuffs stack, or, less ideally, have them be the exact same effect, which saying that just makes it suck because you don't want 2 classes to do the exact same thing. That's why I was not a fan of the proposed lore master changes. So yeah, in the future we could choose between red line captain, blue line mariner, and blue line lore master of all things. Okay, love me some It really doesn't matter at this point. If I take this character to Umbar first, maybe he should be my best static character, although his gear is going to be terrible, or is terrible. But yeah, I'll go with those for now, and maybe save some of these teal enhancement runes for my warden. I want to try to get my warden to 300k morale. Maybe in Umbar I can get back to the 2 million mark, and then try to get to the 3 million mark. I gotta chase those stat ties. So normally I would go ahead and want critical rating. I know physical mastery is a more efficient stat to get up, but I'm also low on mastery, but I think it'd be better in the long run to go ahead and do critical rating, even though I hate doing that because in the short run, physical mastery is way better. But I think, yeah, also looking at the agility, I don't think that's going to be worth boosting on its own. Let me just double check, because that would be about 1,000 physical mastery that it provides. Actually, it's only 3 physical mastery? Is this different than what it was in beta? Oh no, yep, that's right, okay. And then it's critical rating. Actually, this is different than beta, I think. Maybe they went down on the stats a little bit, but definitely not worth doing agility then, in that case. So we'll go with, I'll just, I don't know, boost physical mastery, and maybe there are some critical rating ones somewhere. I have 60 left, so we'll go ahead and, I hate doing these, but again, it's better to use the stuff. It's all gonna be irrelevant, like pointless, once we go to Umbar. So all this stuff is going to be replaced. So you basically have to use it. Otherwise, you could save it for alts, which they're going to replace it when they level up, or just sell it to a vendor. So that's why we got to make use of it while we can. Maybe it's exciting. Like, I got to think of that way. It's exciting to be able to use all these enhancement runes and just get a character that's hopefully super OP. Okay, I think I still will save some for my warden, just because I'm greedy about my warden stats, but I think I can play the game now. It only took me an hour and a half, almost. But I think we are ready to play LOTRO. Oh, no, we're not. Just kidding. We're ready to work on our traits and get our ability set up. So what could go wrong with my skill bar if I just spec into a spec and drag some of this stuff off and just crowd up my skill bar even more? Ooh, new icons. I don't remember that one. Yeah, these are a little bit different. Positional damage. I heard this doesn't work in instances or something, or maybe it was bugged. Maybe that's what it was. It wasn't listed in the known issues, so... Yeah, but positional damage, it's a really exciting positional damage because you have to be in front of your target, not behind them like a burglar. It doesn't... Oh, it actually does say that in the description. Swordplay skill damage, definitely want that. Damage over time pulses, definitely want that. Forward state buff damage, so when you're forward, you get more damage. Sure. Melee skill crit chance. Very good. Salt Sea Blade. Debuff, yes. Advance, make it AoE into sweeping advance. Yes, thrust into advance applies a bleed. Definitely. Afterward pips from step back or check step. Yes, we actually do like that so we don't get stunned. Dodge. I like dodging. My brain is like mush after all this setup. It doesn't want to think about anything. See, at this point, I spent all this time setting up this character that I'm just like want to smash works and not even pay attention to any of my skills. Like, this is the time to play champion or even guardian. Guardian sounds fun right now. But once I get this character set up, I don't think it will be too bad. Okay, I just got everything. Did I even want everything? Steady 4 becomes 4 with haste. Becomes a short duration skill, which increases forward balance, melee damage, and run speed while active. Yes, that does change that. Fletch or Fleesh, I think. Lunge, apply bleeds. Yes, on every swordplay skill, we get more swordplay skills. Critical hits. Increased damage. All right. And then finisher skill damage, we do want that damage over time potency, that's good. Compound attack is very good. Northwind damage would be one I'd actually consider not getting, potentially. Because it's a 1 minute cooldown skill, and you're boosting that damage by 30%, which, yeah, that's pretty good for an AoE, but that's on a 1 minute cooldown skill. Is that really going to be worth 3 trait points? Well, we'll try to maybe find out later. But I think for now, I'm actually going to do that. And then afterwards skills damage. Sure, we'll keep that. We want to use those. So I think this is a good start, at least. Otherwise, what do we... Oh, yeah, motivating song. Definitely want that. That's actually the heal. It's only a 6,000 heal, but you can use that on a 1 minute cooldown. And that is actually a heal other than the 10% max morale buff. So that's pretty good for us. Steady movement speed. So combat, like, say you're able to better benefit from the positive effects of changing balance states, so you get increased duration of the buffs. That probably wouldn't be too bad. I'm kind of curious, though, how deep you have to go into Blue Line to get any of the heals, if you can even get any, or if they're mostly locked behind set bonuses. Southwind, probably not going to want too much of that. I know there's a lot of stuff in Yellow Line. Steady critical, we won't have any sea shanties. You have to spec into Red Line, despite motivating melody there and being a sea shanty. But yeah, marked foes would be good. If we could actually get that, that'd be an interesting one. I don't know. I don't think that's reasonable to get, and the path to it is a bit iffy at best. Wait, Guided by the Stars, why did I think that was a Yellow Line thing? It makes sense it's Blue Line, though. Okay, next up, Yellow Line. This has a lot of exciting damage stuff. Mogi, you're wondering about Guardian changes. There was a Guardian revamp with Update 37. Changed the DPS spec a bit. Maybe changed tank spec a bit. I don't really play it, so... Not too sure there, but there were some changes, and then they removed Yellow Line as a spec, so now it just has supplemental traits for Red and Blue Line to support those builds. Breath of Fire, that sounds very fun. we can get more damage on it, which I think for a 30-second cooldown skill is a bit more reasonable. Sometimes I know LOTRO has issues though. If you get something that increases like breath skills damage there, sometimes it doesn't actually impact the damage over time, which is about half the damage of this ability. So that's something to look to, I guess, be cognizant of, really. Okay, so when you use gain a chance to stun your enemies with riposte, so if you want to stun, oh, it does not affect sweeping advance. That's why it never happened. I don't remember that little asterisk, very important note, this does not affect sweeping advance. I don't remember reading that ever in beta, but it could have been there and I just ignored it. But that's why sweeping advance never stunned enemies when I was playing in the beta. So we'll ignore that. 3,000 vitality, that's a lot. I'm just gonna be greedy and get all 5 points in that. Throw bolas probably isn't bad to get a 15-second root either. I mean, that's 2 trait points and that's pretty huge utility. As far as this removing diseases, if we run into a lot of diseases, of course 3 points in that would be useful, but I only have 32 points left, so we'll see if we can avoid that. Ragged knife. Is that what that used to be called, like throw? But anyway, you throw out the enemy a chipped and rusted throwing knife. A throw is just nice to have. Outgoing healing modifier. Probably not. Temporary damage reduction from aftward balance. Probably not that either, so let's get some damage. And then Northwind incoming healing reduction. Not interested in that, so I'll probably get just full mitigation here. And then we have 1 trait point to spend. I'm guessing outgoing healing modifier if we have to. And then a chance for shanties to restore power. Probably not too relevant for us. Throwing skill range, I think that'll be a good one here. Then careful aim. Yes, throwing skills can become ground targeted. Although in the beta, I think when you made Firepot ground targeted, it used to, like, when you didn't have that, it could actually impact multiple enemies at once. And that, like, a whole bunch of circles were created. So I don't know if that's still the case, but that's probably not intended to work that way if it still is. But yeah, we can make that ground targeted. This is going to be the big AoE days. That probably wouldn't hurt to have that. And then a fear, I probably don't want that. After step back or check step, disengage heals your fellowship. I forget what disengage is. Do I have that ability? I do. So that's going to be the blue one. So that would heal the fellowship. I don't know how much of a heal that is, but that's like 2 trait points for a new effect. So we'll just grab it. And now, after an hour and a half, I'm still not ready because I have to actually set this character's ability bar up. Oh boy, everything spawned. So, as a little preview, I just want some combat. I need a break from setting this character up. We want some of the NPC. As a little preview, these are some of the things Mariners can do, hitting random buttons that are totally disorganized. You can still kill 2 signatures doing that, if you were worried. But a little preview, a little taste of the Mariner that we'll eventually get to. Okay, so as far as setting things up, I'm going to try to put all my defensive stuff in the control bar. So that's going to be a lot of these blue abilities to start. Those tend to push you towards the aft scale afterwards. And the red abilities tend to push you forward. Not all of them necessarily, though. And they all interact, the blue and red abilities here, the main ones at least, interact with the swordplay mechanic. Compound attack, I think I had at 5 in the beta. Sweeping advance is going to be one of our primary abilities. Probably put that at 3. Thrust, good to use right before sweeping advance because it gives it bleed and more damage. It also impacts some other things. So that's kind of good to use before any ability. It has a half-second cooldown, so it's good. It's something you can weave in between abilities. It's one of our main ones. We want to use advance after That recenter, very important. I'll have it at F4 for now, but if you go too far forward or afterward, after using a finisher, you can recenter towards the middle. And then compound attack, that is good to use after advance. No, just kidding. That is good to use after one of these abilities. Who knows which one? At least used to be. That used to be a thing. Maybe I will eventually find the ability that impacted compound attack, but it gave it like more damage or something. There is also a small chance that I'm missing abilities in this. I don't think I got that many abilities though. Riposte. Do I have riposte? Oh, here's riposte. Okay, maybe marked foes damage. I don't even have marked foes, but alright. I guess, yeah, that's a blue line thing. One of these I thought impacted Flick. No, Flick's the interrupt, right? Paint? Cut over, becomes AoE, compound attack, critical chance. Nope, not that one. Maybe this isn't a thing anymore. But yeah, Feint. Feint is an immediate skill, so that's kind of interesting because of that. Disengage, forward skills damage, that's check step, so that's going to move us afterward. I'll put my interrupt at shift 1, probably. Lunge is good to use after compound attack. I think compound attack, yeah, makes it bleed and gives it decreased cooldown. Disengage, that's one of our healing ones, so that's one of the big finishers for the blue skills there. We have our throw, maybe put that at F2, and then we should have our haversack ability go at F1. Smoking stones. Wait, that's an AoE interrupt? I honestly don't remember that from beta, but that's a thing we have. There were only 2 beta rounds, so I played both of them, but the class was relatively finished looking. Like, it felt more finished than the brawler was on full release in the first beta. Rummage, there it is. That's our haversack ability that I was talking about. And then we have a bunch of just like stuff that does stuff. These like AoEs that aren't involved in swordplay. We have an AoE interrupt, AoE daze here. We have just Salt Sea Blade debuff, not really a swordplay ability. Salt Cure, corruption removal. Belly of Brine debuff removal. Maybe I'll put that down here. I think I'm also worn out from talking, which I'm used to talking a lot from the streams, except I haven't streamed that much lately. It's been a while. I think the first beta round was actually my last stream, and then before that, well, that was the second one at this new apartment. But the one before was the day before, and that was the first stream at the new apartment. So it would have been at least a month before I streamed over that. And I know I had stuff going on over the summer. So I haven't streamed all that much the past few months. But perhaps that's another possibility. Okay, Fletch applies latent damage. Alright then. But something else impacts Fletch. Well, there are a lot of ones that are like that, but I thought something else gave it like... Oh, it says latent damage, but I think that means it's a bleed, because I remember from the icon that is a combination I used before. Okay, so I want more abilities on my main bar here. Like, maybe I go... Oh, wait. Maybe I go something like this. I don't know. So I have our post down there. And then for the defensive abilities, this one impacts thrust, so we can move it leftmost. This one impacts... That's our get out of stun ability. This one impacts thrust, so we can also move it leftmost. And then this one is the riposte one, dodge. And then if we're far enough aft, we can use disengage, which I think one of these other abilities gives disengage a heal. Feint. Yes, the class came out. Pre-patch basically means it's the patch before the expansion that contains, like in this case for LOTRO, the Mariner class and other general system changes that might be in the expansion, which really aren't much. There were some class mechanic changes with the way buffs and debuffs interact would be the main things, but yeah, the Mariner class is the big one. I know with like Gundabad, it included the Brawler, but also the Legendary item revamp. For the crafting revamp we're getting, that has to do with the Umbar crafting tier, and then some of the other changes will be with that rather than this patch. Oh, my water got warm. I should have put ice in it before the stream. Heat 34. Okay. Good evening, Bella. Do we want to do this? Yeah, I guess I can get the NPC. Make it extra easy. My first time playing the class on release. Sort of. Okay, we can deal with these vines. So I think my combination that I want to use is 1, 2, and then I have to find something. What do we use after advance? Dramatic Flourish. I don't think we have Dramatic Flourish. So that also does give us 75% finisher skills damage, but we'd rather use something like Compound Attack to lunge to give it a bleed. But if you just want the upfront damage, you know, maybe you could do advance into lunge to get more upfront damage, but now we got the 2 bleeds there. Orba's quite strong here. And then for cut over, this will make Fletch, the AoE here, apply latent damage, so I think that's that bleed. It got its second bleed there. I'm curious if anything impacts cut over, like if there's an ability you want to use before cut over as well. So Feint, that would make cut over be an AoE. Also, we do have to pay attention to the 4 scale, so I got stunned there by going too far with Compound Attack. If I had gotten lunge off, I could have recentered. Oh, I died. First death. I could have actually tried on this character to not die, but I am hopefully clearly just messing around with mechanics, and this troll is being a troll and raging and the such. Okay, let's let the NPC get aggro and do stuff while I try to learn these abilities. Okay, so this one increases cut over damage. So both of these impact cut over, and that seems to be, oh, Compound Attack critical chance, there it is. Okay, so this gives us both. This is one we want to use before our finisher skills, if that makes sense. Check step, that's going to move us afterward, so that can go there. But essentially, the combination that I'm thinking is we use Shanty 4 with haste, so we go even more forward, and then we use something like this, and then F4 to reset towards the middle, and that's our power combo. Yellow line probably will do well in raids because it's a debuff support spec, and those are always valuable. The question is, can it debuff support as well as the Lore Master or Burglar? Because a lot of the effects won't stack with them. So that is something to be aware of. Does 1 to 2 do anything? Yes, that is the one I want to use, not 1 to 3. Yeah, I don't know if our post does all that much, like, on its own for us. So I might need to move our post and maybe change it with Feint. I know Feint gives us 1 aft attunement, but that's okay. Riposte seems to be, like, after using it, actually, it makes sense, because with Riposte, it doesn't do that much on its own, but a lot of your defensive abilities, well, dodge, 2 of them. Okay, never mind. This makes sense. So 2 of your defensive abilities here, Blade Shield and Dodge, those both impact Riposte. So it's like you use these defensive ones and you shift into an aggressive posture, because with this one you get 50% damage and crit chance, and then this other one you just get 50% damage. Check step. Yeah, check step is, I guess if you want to go a little bit afterward, probably use that in regular rotation a bit if you can fit it in. I don't know what ability impacts check step, but it seems to be the defensive ones here, like this. Wait, that's step back damage reduction. Yeah, I don't know, but there's gonna be a lot to work out. It's, I think, gonna take a lot of working out and figuring things out to get a sense of a good rotation. But for now, I mean, as far as this content goes, sure, I'm doing a solo version of a 3-man, which are usually very easy, and we have the OP 4 to help us, but I'm doing pretty well in this instance, besides my 1 death from the Enraging Troll. I actually use my cooldown, so we use Shift 4, I think, and then 6, and then 7, and then F4. If I wanted to go the AoE route, which I know I did, and then here is where we need to go back, like we're going way too far. I know we use our cooldown ability that makes us go more forward. But yeah, I think that's my biggest problem with the Mariner, is after we're in combat for a little bit, I'm relatively comfortable with like the opener sequence and using like here very basic 1, 2, shift 4, 4, 5, like, and then F4. Like that's a good combo to just get you started. I realize that just saying the numbers, we're actually gonna move it so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, that actually makes sense. Okay, I didn't realize it'd work out that smoothly, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's basically our single target opener. Also, we're way too far aft. I don't know what. Oh, because this moves us, feint moves us 1 aft. Maybe I have to worry about that a little bit. What, does anything impact feint? So we have feint, but I don't see that anywhere here. Okay. And then 6 and 7. But yeah, after like that opener and that particular sequence, that's where I get, again, a bit more lost. It also might be better to do 1, 2, 1, 3, 4, 5 if we were going that way, because I think just thrust, yes, will give our next ability increased damage. And I don't think sweeping advance, there's much to follow it up with if we're not using a finisher, which we wouldn't in that case. So we do 1, 2, 1, 3. In this case, because we're doing AoE, 6, 7, and then F4. They do have a lot of abilities, but I think the biggest thing, not too unlike Warden, is that you have powerful sequences of abilities. It's of course very different than Warden. But the ultimate effect is you use a sequence of abilities and you get a powerful effect from it. And then you get stuck in combat wondering what you want to do while things just end up dying anyway. Using random stuff to pretend that I know what I'm doing. Wait, which is the one that makes disengage heal? I want to see that. Oh, so close. Does this give us a lot of aft? It does, okay. Not enough apparently, but it's supposed to give us like a 12,000 heal. Also, if we use our motivating song, you see that gives us a little bit of a heal on top of our increased max morale. Also, wow, I am way afterward. Disengage here, that'll give us a heal, and of course defensive buff. I'm not used to going this far afterward. I think that's an interrupt, the one I just used. What's my debuff remover? This guy? I know I'm about to die. Actually, we have toss a bottle. Maybe that'll save me. Alright, I'm just going to deal... Well, didn't want that, but it works. Still don't have enough for, but that's okay. I could use one of my fancy new foods, which I probably should, especially the ones that last through death. That's like a 2-hour food that you don't have to worry about going away in those 2 hours. But
What is this? How dare you enter
add Mandy. I'm guessing that's D-Man is the name I go by. So good AoEs there. Definitely want to use F4, but combat's done. Hello, Victor. Yes, this food. There's one of the Gundabad foods that lasts through death. There's also the other one that you can use in combat, so I could actually use that right now in the middle of this fight. Okay, let's hope. And then we have to use F4 real quick or we'll become stunned. Wait, I used my finisher, didn't I? Wait, maybe I used cut over instead of lunge. Oopsies. We have a corruption, yes, corruption removal. There we go. I used it on the wrong guy. Okay. All things considered, I haven't had too much lag today. Corruption removal, let's try it again. We also have a debuffer, increased incoming damage. I kind of forget bosses have mechanics even on solo version tier 1. Okay, I'm going really far forward here. I'm just gonna use that to dump it, and then... Wait, why am I dying? Let me heal myself. Oh, of course now the NPC is gonna heal me once I go for my own self-heals. What is shift 3? When do I want to use aggressive strike? So that increases cut over damage, sure, but what increases aggressive strike damage? Oh, that still has that bug where it's like, makes you think it's available. Okay, we better get out this poison cloud. Except I don't have aggro. Oh, we almost got the NPC to follow us. Is she doing another one? I really didn't know the solo version tier 1 that she actually goes through all the regular phases. Here's a cat. Maybe this fight. Oh, is she ever gonna reset? Do I have to leave instance and can I even leave instance and come back? There we go. Okay, she eventually does reset. Maybe. Well, I know not to die now. I'll actually try to pay attention to the content rather than the class. It's kind of the same thing. What was I talking about that in a recent video? I think the Blue Line Mariner video. Because going through the delving, I was like so focused on the class rather than the delving mechanics. And as anybody who has run higher tier delvings, as I'm sure you know, there's a ton of stuff going on in the delvings. So we will... Yeah, probably have to pay attention to the mechanics, kind of like the delvings content. Which isn't a bad thing that you have to. It just means that I will have to pay attention. But the good news is, as far as opener sequence goes, I know I can deal with these soldiers very swiftly. Because we use that, then this, and then this, and then F4. And they should all be gone. Is this Philips 950 headphones? I think so. Yep. SHP 950, something like that. They're Philips at the very least, and 950 sounds familiar. I really like them. They're lightweight, open back, which I actually really like. Okay, I think I can use... Ooh, okay, we'll use our finisher on this Reaver, and then I'll use F4 to reset. I might as well go ahead and use the corruption removal. I'm just going to use that and then F4. Why is she still doing her thing? I removed her corruption. Do you also have to interrupt? Shift 1. Maybe? I don't think I've ever actually had to interrupt this boss. Okay, if this NPC is just gonna do that, I'm gonna let her do that. We'll heal up. It's not gonna be fun, but seems necessary for this character's survival. Wait, was I... Who am I even targeting? Well, we can throw our stuff. I don't know if the fire breath will reach. It did not. I don't know if the north wind will reach. That one might have. Yeah, that one did. Actually, might be able to squeeze in an attack here. 4 and then 5 and then F4. Wait, why is she not taking damage again? Oh yeah, for some reason we have to actually interrupt. I don't think that I've ever run into that before here. This is probably bad, but... There. Okay, there. I interrupted and I used my corruption removal. Now, we'll let them do their thing. Oh yeah, we're gonna have the Heworts. Not that many, though. I'll let them deal with the venom caps. Well, the NPC is actually not only not helpful, but actively harmful in the instance. Okay, I guess we'll stay in the poison cloud, but let me use this. And then, oh, I want to use the reset. Here we go. We have our powerful opener sequence that should do a ton of damage, and I didn't even have time to get like half. I don't even think I got halfway through it. Very unsatisfying finish there, but once we got that boss done with its mechanics, it went faster. Also, even more enhancement runes. Wow. I mean, this late into the expansion and having a new expansion in a month, I don't care about gear. I already stopped caring about gear upgrades all that much like a few months ago. So I don't mind not getting gear pieces. Of course, it's still exciting and nice to get upgrades, but as far as like upgrading this character, he could actually use some gear, but some of the Valar gear pieces are decently itemized, and they're, of course, item level 477 stats at least. Where's our turn in? Or do we still have to do... Wait. Was I supposed to do a quest in there? I think okay, I don't really want to do any more Return to Cardoom anyway. So I think we'll go home, wherever that is. Don't... Actually, we have seafaring abilities on this character. The sailing abilities, so I can sail to Lothlorien. I don't remember that one being in beta, but maybe it was. Sarnford is in Before the Shadow. We can sail to Kellendam as well. Buckland for Bree. Tenuder, Evendam. Lothlorien. Lothlorien. That's the only one that's called the zone name, so I actually don't know where it takes you. It does take you right along, kind of where I was suspecting, the Anduin River. Launch officer. Actually, do you have access to Mirkwood with the Valar? I actually don't know. I would guess not, and you still have to do the quest, but it wouldn't be nice if they completed that for you. Yes, they are ports. I think like Hunter, where you can actually port a group. I did not know that. I remember reading something about that in the beta, that like they weren't working. Oop. For supposedly being a seafarer, I'm not a good swimmer. Alright, well, we got some gameplay. But I kind of want to go to Gondor. We can at least go to Gondor. I'm thinking this character, one of my big tests to see if he actually would be the character that I want to take through Umbar is to go through King's Gondor, because I have not gone through King's Gondor. So maybe we'll set this character up for that and wrap up for the day. I don't think any of the sailing locations we have are that great, really, for getting to Umbar. I think Kellendon might be the best to just take a swift travel to South Bree. Then we can... Actually, what sort of maps did we get? Did they give us a good one for the expansion? They gave us Anna Curfew. Oh, it's a level 140 Valar, but they're not giving you like a King's Gondor map to... That's kind of unfortunate, whatever that place is called. That has like an instance named after it and all the such, right? Right, Harlon. A map to Harlon would have been perfect with this Valar. Oh well. I think you actually have to start the quests at Minas Tirith anyway. Maybe Camp of the Host of the West, or whatever that is. Camp of the Host of the West, yes. Maybe we can take a travel from there, we'll see. Although we do have to go to After Battle Gondor. Which... The waste is after battle. Here's Aragorn. When they're talking about King's Gondor, which one of these two actually looks like the king? I think we all know the answer there. Sword and dagger. I think, actually, they might have let you cosmetically equip something else. I forget. But they're supposed to be sword and dagger. There's something about having some issues with something or other, so maybe you can actually use a non-dagger and offhand. Yes, that's what I was going to do, Midsummer Minas Tirith, because I think you could travel there from Bree. So, if I don't want to spend a Mythal coin, that might end up being my best bet. Which I'm very cheap, so that is what I'll do. But I have the Stable Master discovered. Yes, class is live on main servers. The update just came out today. You do have to, in some form, pre-purchase the expansion to get access to the class. Level 5 Mariner. Hard to tell with the outfit. I mean, I look basically the exact same. Yeah, I'm level 140, but we have the same cosmetics. That's what happens.
How can I be of service?
And then, oh, it's Westbury. That's right. That makes sense. But yeah, I think as far as upcoming Mariner content goes, not only do I plan to finally quest through King's Gondor. It's been so long since I've just sat down and quested in LOTRO.
What do you need?
It's actually been a really, really long time. And actually played through like a multi-part series through a full zone playthrough at high levels. It's been since Gondor, or not Gondor, since Gundabad, really. And I think I did Gondor. I don't remember when I did Gondor on Anor, but I do remember that being fun. Oh, you don't have South Bree automatically discovered. They're gonna make me actually set up my war steed like a proper mariner. I don't know about throwing harpoons, but they have... I don't think they have any harpoons in their haversack. That would be a good ability. I think you can get to Midsummer Minas Tirith from South Bree at least. I hope. The best race for Mariner. You're kind of limited in your options to River Hobbit, High Elf, Stout Dwarf, and Man. Oh, riding your war steed through Bree is fun, but extra fun is actually doing it through Minas Tirith. Can be more challenging than most raids in LOTRO. And then, despite us being in an Anorian after battle, we need to go to Anorian after battle. Into after war. Oh, wait, we actually started this here? Did I know that? Maybe I did know that. I think I did know that. But this, yeah, this is chapter 1.1. So this is the start of the Corsairs of Umbar story. Of course, what we have in game right now that came out in like update 36, I want to say. So it's been in game for a while. It's not a part of the pre-patch or anything. But nice pocket item I could get from this. It's a bit less nice than the one I have now. So, can do that, and then travel. I can confirm that you are really familiar with the walls if you ride your war steed through Minas Tirith. Luiner. How does this guy know my name? I didn't know his name. Those characters never met this Gimli fellow. He has plans to raid Umbar and plunder all the Corsairs. So there's Captain of the Garrison, Warden of the Houses of Healing, Warden of the Coffers, they like wardens, Warden of Laws, Warden of Green, and here we have Mariner of the Seas.
Carl here, what says my Warden of the Laws?
I think with all this talking, I'd like to get this character actually set up towards King's Gondor, but with all this talking, I think it's time to sit down. Alright, no offense to him, but that felt like a bunch of nothing.
Surely they were all slain during the war.
Maybe that's my own fault for skimming through what he had to say.
He met his end at the cold blades of the dead.
Sometimes it is nice to sit.
You know this to be true? Are you certain he had no sons or daughters to take up his cause?
Except I can't, like, if y'all remember the old streams, like, back when, hey, we were in Gondor, it'd be, like, after a while, having to lean back like this. It's comfortable for my back, but I actually can't do that with this microphone and have y'all still hear me. So I'm, like, yeah, way quiet. I think I'm negative 15 to negative, yeah, about negative 15 to negative 10 decibels.
When these three return with tidings that the heirs are truly defeated, then I will be content for you to travel your kingdom, my husband.
I think such caution is needless, but if this is your will, I shall oppose it not. What say you, my friends?
Just listening to my disciples here. Their silly little conversations. Another adventure begins as Aragorn takes on the adventure of seeing his kingdom. Oh wow, this teleports you all the way to the Harlan. That's pretty convenient. We only get a pocket item for sitting. Oh, these are Candace enchanted to embers. That's a nice step up from I think the Gundabad stuff, but
We have come to the south gate of the Ramos Echo.
we only get a pocket item for sitting and listening into all that.
I do not think this expedition of ours.
That was so much effort. We should get like a full set of jewelry. Well, I think we're at the point that I wanted. I don't know how feasible it will be for me to try to do a full King's Gondor playthrough, but I feel like it'd be so thematic. Like, pre-patch to me is the perfect time to do this in the lead up to the expansion. So, I don't know, maybe I can try to. I know I haven't been able to stream all that much lately, but that's something I could try. So I'm actually going to also create a Mariner from level 1 in the next stream on tentatively Saturday. That would probably work out well. So Saturday is my current plan to do a level 1 Mariner, and personally my challenge is going to be tier 9 max landscape difficulty and hardcore. So if the character dies, he's deleted. But the specific challenge is that I'm basically not going to leave until I get level 20. So whether that's one playthrough and it takes me an hour, or if it's... there's probably going to be some limit, but if it's like 10 hours and I just keep dying over and over, you know, I gotta get level 20. I think the way I'll set it up is probably that I keep going until I either get level 20 or until I fall asleep. I have no idea what tier 9 is like, especially after the stat squish, but I know it's not the most entertaining for low levels, but I think trying to do it in like hardcore mode essentially can make it, spice it up a little bit, make it more interesting. But yeah, I'm thinking we unsubmerge the ship and go ahead and set sail to Umbar. That should be pretty easy. I can go with this guy. And we'll go ahead and finish all the raids. Completely take over Umbar from the Corsairs. Maybe we'll be the enemies after that though. Also, we have Hobbit gifts to open. Those are always exciting. I did get 500 Virtue XP. I got a teal one and 3 universal optional crafting ingredients. So there's that. I do want to actually set my milestone here and get the swift travel. But yeah, as far as other updates, I plan to have another video on the Umbar expansion Thursday. And that should be with the Ultimate Fan Bundle, going into a lot more detail and more concisely on the cosmetics. I'll probably have a video on the Valar 140 Valar experience setting up a character. And oh, where am I carrying these carrots? Who wants carrots? Y'all want carrots? No? One of these guys? He looks like he wants carrots. Nope. Ah! Wait, that's not Gimli. Does he want carrots though? Eh. Crafting people want carrots? Hungry? Nope. But yes, here, Gimli and Legolas, they want carrots, right? No? Who wants carrots then? You don't think Gimli's a vegetarian that goes on a carrot-only diet? A carrot-only diet that also has other non-carrots, even though it's creative carrots? Oh, rats. Oh, they want the carrots. Well, I'm not giving them to them. Who wants the carrots? Like, is this guy supposed to have the carrots? Am I supposed to bring it here the whole time? No? Alright, we can look at the quest. I feel like I've walked around everywhere. I was having fun trying to discover... Oh, that's that Mumak guy. North of Harlon's Walls. Oh, I have to bring it all the way over there? Oh, wait. Where? I'm getting these quests mixed up. Okay, that's not too far. We can do that. This is nice and relaxing after spending so long setting this character up for like 20 minutes of rough gameplay. That's a neat bridge, but where is that bridge? Eastern Gondor, do we have... Like, isn't that south of the land? That's Herodwaith, as far as I can tell. Sort of, well, Eastern Gondor, so not quite. What a cute little Mumak. That's like, how is that even a snack for that Mumak? Like, I feel like that's the equivalent of eating like a tenth of a carrot for a human. That was a tiny crate of carrots, and that is a giant Mumak. Also, something is missing. Well, if y'all cannot tell by my yawn, I am tired, and I still have stuff to do. So I think this is a good point to wrap up the stream. We kind of got settled here in Harlond, and this character is ready for an adventure towards Umbar. We will see if he makes the cut and is actually going to be the character I level through Corsairs of Umbar. I might make a poll on my channel at some point related to that because I'm curious what people want to see. Also, I meant to do a poll for this stream about if y'all like seeing chat, because you might notice I moved myself down. Normally I'm... Wait for it. Normally I'm up here. So this is my normal location when I stream, so you all can see the game chat really is why, but I've kind of been bothered by this window lately, so I'm experimenting with doing this window that is similar to what I've done for some recent videos, and I like the visuals of this one better. And as Belly say, you can't see chat regardless. Yes, the text is tiny, so unless you're watching me on like full screen or whatever on a decent sized monitor, it's probably hard to see, and that's even like with whatever bitrate you all get shown. I know my bitrate isn't the best because my Spectrum internet is not the best. So yeah, I'm thinking of covering up the chat. But of course, in regular videos, I'd still have it. But anyway, yeah, that's just something I was trying to stream and meant to make a poll about to see what people thought of it. But I think as far as this stream goes, that is all I have. I'm really excited to continue with the Mariner, both this character and the new one I'm going to make next time. So I hope you all are looking forward to that as well, and despite me not getting tons and tons of gameplay this video, I do hope you all enjoyed the full setup of the 140 Valar character and going through allies, the traits, all that sort of stuff. Maybe if you're starting out with a Mariner or wanting to use a 140 Valar if you got that with the expansion. Just hope it was helpful. And if you did enjoy, please consider liking and subscribing for more, or becoming a channel member to support the content. And thanks for joining, chatting, and watching, everyone.